Surprised by the settlement.
I was surprised that the NFL settled. Skip, this is what we know about the NFL. If they think they have a case to win, they will move heaven and earth to get it in the court and win it. Ask Tom Brady. Ask Zeke Elliott. Skip, this is the same NFL that sued one of its own owners, Commissioner Davis. Now, it wasn't this commissioner, but they sued him, tell him, nah, you can't move. And Mr. Davis said, bull jive, I'm going to move. So, but the difference is between a real court and the kangaroo court that the NFL has, Skip, they got this thing called discovery. You see, when they go to the kangaroo court, Tom Brady can't get discovery. Zeke Elliott couldn't get discovery. An owner, if you want to sue the league, you can't get discovery. But guess what happened if you trot your butt up into the halls of justice in a normal courtroom in America? This thing called discovery.
Yep.
You see, and I know everybody's saying, well, this doesn't prove anything. And normally when you see a settlement, Skip, what's the first thing, be it man, woman, or child, or corporation? This is not an admission of guilt. You're absolutely right. But it's an admission of guilty conscience. And that's good enough for me. Because every time I heard Commissioner Goodell and I heard all these owners speak, Skip, they told me the reason why Colin Kaepernick wasn't participating in the NFL is that his talent wasn't good enough. Well, if that's the case, go to court and prove it. Prove it that you didn't. Collusion is a fancy term. Conspiracy.
Sure.
Basically what it was. That basically the league and its owners were in cahoots. I used to use that term with my kids when we played Monopoly. I used to tell my son and daughter, I said, you know what? Y'all two in cahoots. They're like, Daddy, what cahoots mean? I said, y'all two are conspiring. Y'all are teaming up against me. They're like, oh, yeah, Daddy, you're right. You see, Skip, the owners and the commission were their worst enemies. All they do is keep their mouth shut, but they just couldn't help it. Because what happened is they got suckered into this thing with our president. They should have just left well enough alone. And every time one of them spoke, I saw a toe pop out, Jenny, because they kept their foot in their mouth. And so every time one of them opened their mouth, they go, oh, another toe and another toe. Oh, he's not good enough. And then all of a sudden they start talking, well, it was our fan base and yada, yada this, and we couldn't have that. And it come to find out, commissioners started like, hold on, wait a minute. Ratings are down, watching the Super Bowl. This is not happening. Nike signed on cap and all this merchandise is flying off the shelf. It reported a store in Denver was so upset by this, they took out all the Nike merchandise, and guess what, Skip? They going out of business.
They are.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't take long either.
Lo and behold, you mean to tell me that there were some black folks out there that buy merchandise, that buy paraphernalia, that go to games? Sure. Skip, you and I both know this. You covered the league for 40 years. I played in it, and I cover it today. If the NFL thought they could take this to court and win, Colin Kaepernick would not have been offered a settlement, because this is what happens. And normally, if you win from them, Skip, what do? They tie it up. Oh, they keep appealing. Just like when they beat Tom win. They keep, well, we're going to just keep going until we're going to tie it up, until you get tired of it and says, okay, enough is enough. But no, they called it. And lo and behold, and one last thing they tried to do, Skip, did you see what they tried to do, old Cap? To try to make him seem greedy and make it was about money, on Thursday, it was reported that Colin Kaepernick was offered an opportunity to play in this alliance league, but he wanted $20 million. Now, the settlement came out on Friday. Oh, see, some people say that's what it's been about all along. He just wanted money. No, good and well. If the average...
So you think those two are tied? The leak of $20 million came from the NFL, not from the alliance, right?
Well, the old saying that, Grady said, boy, it's too many coincidences. Not a coincidence. Skip, hold on. When did this league take place? So did they just ask him on Wednesday? This could have been come out. But it just so happens it leaked out on Thursday, and this came out on Friday. I'm surprised. Selfishly, Skip, to go back to your original point, selfishly, I kind of wanted him to go. I kind of wanted to see the little seedy. I think you and I both have a little inkling of how it works in the NFL, but we kind of wanted to see some things exposed.
Sure.
You know, I mean, Skip, I know you don't eat sausage, but I used to eat sausage. And sometimes, even though I know how it's made, I still like it. I'm still going to like the NFL, even if I know how the underbellies work. So I'm surprised. But at the end of the day, Skip, I don't care what the case is. If you go to court, what's your objective? to win. And Colin Kaepernick won. I don't care if they didn't have to grill no details. I don't care if they didn't have to give discovery. They didn't have to admit guilt, but they admitted a guilty conscience, and that's enough for me.
You made a whole bunch of good points, but I do disagree with one point that you made. I believe the NFL believed with all its heart, and if it has a soul, whatever soul it was, that it could win this case. Because it is so difficult in a court of law to prove collusion without a smoking gun of a memo, email, or something that you have tangible where you can say, Your Honor, this proves it. And I'm not sure there was a smoking gun that I know of.
We'll go to court and prove that.
Okay? I'm with you about I wanted to see Colin Kaepernick fight this home to the finish. Even if he lost in the finish, I wanted discovery. I wanted feet held to the fire. I wanted to hear testimony from owner after owner after owner, under oath, under fire. It would have been great theater, and I think it would have been revealing theater, maybe too revealing for the National Football League. But I do think they could have won it in the end. So what I can't speak to is how much would it have cost Colin Kaepernick to see this home? I don't know what Garagos, the attorney, Mark Garagos, was taking. I don't know if he's working on a commission.
Oh, you get 30. Well, normally in situations like this, you get 33%.
Okay. But was he working on, I don't think it would be hourly because I think the publicity.
No, you get 33% of whatever the settlement is.
Period.
Yes.
Okay. So, again, would Garagos have wanted to see this through? Was he getting tired of wasting his billable hour time on this case that he thought he couldn't win? I don't know any of that. That's way over my head. All I know is when I first heard this, I had mild disappointment that Colin couldn't see this home.
Right.
Because that's how he could have, quote unquote, won, is through the testimony that you talk about, through the discovery. So in this case, it still smacks to me, and I hate to say this publicly, but it does. It smacks of Colin getting paid off to go away. And again, he could still, he could refile this at some point. He could go ahead and try to play again. They could make it known, we're open for business. I'm in good shape. Please sign me. And we'll talk about that in just a second.
Right.
Will anybody sign him? Maybe. But if they don't, you could try a fresh run at this.
Right.
You know, you could file a fresh grievance. You could file a fresh.
But Skip, here's the thing, and you watched enough. There's enough that transpired over the last, let's just say, decade. If we just want to go back 2 years, Skip, when you get into a courtroom, you have 12 men and women, or you have a bench trial in which a judge only hears. Skip, you don't know what they're gonna think, because we've seen juries see video evidence. Say, nah, I didn't see what I thought I see. We've seen cases where we thought they had a slam dunk. Now, we saw here the trial of the century. We thought they had OJ dead to right. And 12 men and women walked into that jury and said, not guilty on all counts.
Okay.
It was Colin, because here's the thing, Skip. If those jurors or judge come back and says, we found no evidence, the NFL was right, Colin Kaepernick loses. At least by not admitting guilt, by admitting guilty conscience, there's enough public opinion that says, you know what, NFL? If you thought you had an airtight case, considering that what we've seen you do to people in the past, you would have saw this thing through.
I hear you. But what is also part of a settlement that bothers me the most?
No talking, confidentiality.
You can't talk.
Yeah.
You're gagged, basically. You've signed an agreement that says you cannot speak publicly about this, nor can they.
Okay, what about can I get on TV with big old bales of money and be playing Johnny Kemp? Just got paid Friday night.
Okay, well, I'm not sure that would be a good look.
Oh, okay, I wouldn't do that, Skip. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. But here's the thing, Skip. Let's just say for the sake of argument, because we really don't know. Because I've heard anywhere between 20 million and 50 million and 80 and 90 million.
I've heard 80 to 90, but then Pro Football Talk shot that down and said it's more in that 50-ish range.
Okay, so
they're probably under.
So my girl goes, okay, he took this case. This was basically 2 years. What lawyer wouldn't work on a case for 2 years for 15 million?
Oh, I hear you.
That's what you. And
okay,
that's,
so did he push for this settlement?
I would, because here's the thing, Skip. That's really how you make your money. It's settlements. When you get these $500 million or $1 billion settlement, and this corporation takes 33% of that. Woo, you sitting pretty. So if you
and by the way, this lump sum, it covers both Colin and Eric Reed. So I don't know what the split would be between those two.
That's a good point.
Well, but
I mean, obviously, Colin should get the
because
lion's share of it. He's the quarterback.
Well, you remember, it's kind of like free agency.
Yeah.
Reggie White, I think Seth Joyner, and a few other guys, they were the leads.
Yeah.
All the other guys, I was a free agent during that time. There was a free agent, so I got a little bit. I didn't get what Reggie got. I didn't get what Seth got.
All right.
I don't believe Eric Reed is going to get what Colin got, but he's going to get something. Plus, Eric Reed just re-signed with Carolina.
He got $10 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
And plus, he probably got a little something in there right here, too.
Okay. Well, he definitely got something.
But, you know, if I'm Colin, I'm saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do this. Mark, tell him this is what we're going to do. They got to pay you, because I want me and Eric Reed, we got to have all this sweepstake for ourselves.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. But was part of this settlement that Colin definitely will get a shot to play in the National Football League?
No, I don't believe that. Because I think it's now like, look, our hands are scot-free. We done paid you. No, we're not going to. And I don't believe I don't believe you hear owner mention his name again.
Well, that's why it smacks of paid him to go away, like go completely away.
Well, Colin, how about,
gag order, can't say.
Can't say.
See.
But let's just say I'm happy.
Huh.
Because here's the thing, Skip, for me, is that why would they release Colin Kaepernick? You want to play in a league. Now, granted, these guys, I don't really know any of the guys that's playing in the Alliance Football League, Skip. And I think it's, I was looking at it this morning, you get 3 years, $225,000, non-guaranteed, but you do get health benefits. And if you want to go try audition for the NFL, you have our blessing. So a guy that played in the Super Bowl, that at the height was making, $15, $16 million a year. Now all of a sudden he want to go and make $100,000.
Okay.
When he thinks he sees a guy in Josh Johnson that hadn't thrown a pass in 7-8 years, start 3 games, he see Mark Sanchez, he see Blaine Gabbert, he see all these guys.
Okay.
And should I say, his name is not a noun anymore, it's a verb.
It is.
They out there Peterman.
Yep.
Nathan Peterman started games in the NFL. Christian Hackenberg was man. Cap said, "Nah, bro, I miss me with that."
Okay. So obviously, the litmus test that is about to go center stage here is the Carolina Panthers. Yeah. So they just re-signed Eric Reed.
Yes.
Correct.
So that owner was the one who said, "I will take a chance on Eric Reed," and it's a new owner in David Tepper, right?
Yes. Yes.
So now you have a quarterback whose skill set is
similar to
pretty
Cam.
much like Cap's, right? And he just had a big shoulder surgery, and the owner had made a statement near the end of the season about, well, maybe it'd be best if he took next year off. Yeah, right? Okay, wouldn't this situation scream for Colin Kaepernick? He's now 31 years of age. Obviously, he has not played a football game in 2 full football seasons, but I'm willing to bet right now that he's in pretty good shape.
If I'm not mistaken, Skip, didn't he come in the draft class after Cap or the same draft class with Cap? Because he was a second-round pick. Yeah. So he either came in 2011 or 2012.
Not sure which one it was, but the point is, it would be a nice, it would be the perfect segue to go to Kaepernick right now, even as your insurance policy for Cam, right? Yeah. So if they don't do it, would anybody else? I know Garagos threw out Robert Kraft. Well, the irony of that is Robert Kraft, he just might be the best friend of our president right now, right? Yeah. Well, isn't that sort of an ironic twist to this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and I love Mr. Kraft, and he's done a great. It's hard for me to say done great, but you look at the criminal justice reform bill that he's on, and he did a lot behind the scenes of getting Meek Mill out early. He seems to get it, but there's still that side of him like. That's
I don't know.
That president is still.
And by the way, with Brian Hoyer there, I'm not sure Cap's a very good fit there anyway.
No.
So
I don't see that.
Okay.
If he signs somewhere else, I just don't see that situation. I don't see Cap signing there. There are 30 other teams. Well, San Francisco is not an option, but there are other teams, and obviously Dallas. There are certain teams. Let's just say there are 10 teams that would be better fits than say the Patriots.
Okay, my bottom line is it will hurt me if Colin Kaepernick has to go away silently. If that's the last we hear.
I believe he can do better. He can do more.
Okay.
now in this situation because, Skip, he's kind of like a martyr.
Well, he is. I mean,
So-
he's one of the he's a historical martyr.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I believe he can do more in the background now
Okay,
in
good.
this position.
He just can't speak openly, publicly about the National Football League,
Now,
what happened to
how
him.
these days, hey, I just want all these charities to know and all these causes that I'm behind, y'all can thank the NFL for this.
Okay.